So please welcome Ella Vanwyk.
Okay, while I was getting my bachelor's degree in English literature at the American University of Sharjah, I arrogantly took a position in the writing center there, thinking that because I was a native speaker of English, I would be fantastic at grammar, which is, by the way, a horrible assumption to make. And what it did do was that it forced me, oh, sorry, that's the wrong slide. What it did do was it forced me to look at my own language through the eyes of someone trying to learn it. And that was far more educational for me than the person I was trying to help. And watching them struggle through trying to learn English, which is an immense thing to take on, I kept thinking that there's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be a better approach to language than just rote memorization. And I know that I remember things better if they have a rhyme or a song to them, like these little tunes that I still use as a 37-year-old woman with a degree in English. It's embarrassing. And one of the things that I would say to the students to encourage them is English is such a monster, it's such a beast, you're doing such a good job, don't give up. And then it dawned on me one day that what I need to do is draw that beast and all of its hideous, illegitimate children and use that as a way to access the language with humor and story and narrative instead. So, for example, if I had a student that was coming to me and they were trying to learn something like a dependent clause, rather than sit down with them and show them some horrific explanation, we use the worst words in our explanations. Who uses subordinate to explain something to someone? Try to get the character of the thing first and then deal with the details later. So my solution when they would present me with questions like this was to show them my dependent clauses. They can't stand on their own because they fall over. They have one foot, and they require other dependent clauses to hang out with. And if you find a dependent clause by itself, don't coach it into self-sufficiency. You'll only end up with a depressed clause. And logically, what follows is an independent clause. They're totally self-sufficient. They can be social if they want to, but they don't have to. They have 2 feet. They can stand on their own. This guy's pretty complex. They come in various forms of complexity. And so I had a sketchbook full of these ideas of these beasts, and my brilliant husband, who's here tonight, encouraged me repeatedly to put it in the shape of a blog. So I did. I challenged myself to 1 beast a week for a year, and I illustrated them and wrote about the beasts. I even came up with a creation myth of English as to how it was born into this world. And now I would just like to share some of my favorite beasts with you tonight. Comma splice is actually 2 beasts pretending to be one. And the way you can spot her is that they will actually be talking about 2 separate things. The avid metaphor watcher knows that metaphors are always trying to be 2 things at once. Some older metaphors are easy to spot, like this one, love is a rose. Some new metaphors that aren't so well known are not so easy to spot and very, very beautiful. Subject is the most narcissistic, egocentric woman you've ever met. She completely believes that she is the center of the universe, which is mostly due to elaborate accessories. And predicate is madly in love with her and follows her everywhere. It's pathetic. Generations of people have lived on a synecdoche and believed that the part of the beast that they see is all there is to behold, which is really tragic because synecdoches are pretty awesome in their entirety. Verbs are the length of a football field and float through the sky. The power of a verb is communicated through its tentacles. It will grab you up and jolt you into action. And humans have been known to fall into post-verbal depression upon being released from a verb and then resort to activities like bungee jumping to regain the high. Cliché is originally from France, but now resides anywhere and everywhere. And there's really no nice way to say it. Cliché is a slut. And my general advice is just don't go there. Tragic flaws are covered in spikes and burrs, and they attach themselves to you and then secrete a chemical that will raise your worst flaw to your complete demise. They should be avoided at all costs. This guy lives in dark alleys, and he will try to sell you stolen wares as originals. You must never, ever deal with him. He doesn't deal with money. He only deals in integrity, and he will take all of yours. Nouns are subterranean creatures made up of a substance called anything, and adjectives are the only beasts that can hear the low grunting noise and dig them up, much similar to pigs and truffles. And there's common nouns and compound nouns, and regular nouns have 2 feet and compound nouns have 4. That's how you can tell them apart. A syntic is a devout follower and worshiper of the all-awesome force of syntax. This student has reached the level of enlightenment in which he understands the purpose of syntactic trees. Run-ons do not produce saliva, nor do they have to breathe, so they have no reason to ever stop talking. Many writers have been taken to the brim of insanity with a run-on. James Joyce is a very well-known example. I encourage you to visit the Beasts online and get to know the rest of them, and look for the upcoming installments of my play called The Syntic is the main character, and he has lost his grammatical purpose and goes on a journey of self-discovery to reclaim it. Thank you.